Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today is Saturday, July the 22nd, and it's so good to see you here today. So I've been watching the news lately. In fact, I have just been glued to YouTube videos and the news that I watch on my cell phone. I don't have cable anymore, so my TV is just up there looking beautiful and doing nothing else. But hopefully someday I will be able to get a Roku stick or some type of little cable service. So I'm not going to sell my TV. I'm going to keep it. But I am just glued to this story out of Hoover, Alabama about CARLEE Russell missing. Y'all, if this isn't some cockamamie story made up in her pea brain, I've never heard of such a ridiculous story. I mean, I knew it was ridiculous from the very beginning. Did y'all? I mean, who sees a baby wandering down the side of the highway that's heavily trafficked, and then you're going to follow the baby for yards and yards and yards? I mean, when I first saw that video footage of her car, I mean, just the time that she spent on the 911 call claiming to be following a 2 or 3 year old toddler in a white t-shirt wearing a diaper, I knew something was suspect as soon as I heard her relate that story. I mean, it's just not possible. I've had 3 toddlers, and I know that none of them would have to walk down the side of the road of the interstate. I think one of my toddlers probably would have just sat down and screamed and cried until they were rescued. I mean, it just didn't make a lick of sense from the very beginning. And then she told the story of, and then, you know, her phone, someone heard her screaming. I think she said that she was talking to her brother's girlfriend, and then the phone just went blank, and it was just picking up the noise from the interstate. But they're saying that there's ring bell video of her walking calmly down the sidewalk to her house, and then she gets into this frenzy whenever she gets home. So I haven't seen any of that video footage. I was wondering if any of y'all have. And if you have, send me the link to it because I want to see it. But y'all, she's just made up some of the most outlandish lies. I mean, she's saying that she was blindfolded, but that they didn't bind her wrists together because they didn't want to leave any marks. And then she says that there was a woman with the guy with orange hair with a bald spot. Has she been watching too much of Prince Harry? And it's just crazy. And I mean, if they didn't bind her hands together, she couldn't, you know, lift up the edge of the blindfold and see who her captors were. I want to know if they're going to come out with a sketch of the guy with the orange hair and the bald spot. Is he going to look like Prince Harry or Donald Trump? Y'all, I'm laughing about it because it's not serious to me. It's not a serious kidnapping situation, so it is laughable. It's just ridiculous. I mean, she's supposed to be 24 years old and already has a degree in psychology. What is wrong with her? She doesn't have common sense, apparently. You know, there are a lot of very intelligent people who just don't have common sense. They don't even know how to dress themselves properly sometimes. Have y'all ever run into really, really book smart people and they just didn't have a lick of common sense? But I just can't imagine the frustration of so many hundreds of thousands of people out there. You know, they had the helicopter flying over looking for her. They had police. They had the Alabama Bureau of Investigation on it. Kinds of search teams out there and helicopters trying to find this woman who claimed that she was kidnapped. And it just didn't make sense. You know, she had, I guess she didn't realize that the police would actually search her Google history. I mean, that's the first thing that they're going to do is look and see who you were Googling or what you were Googling on your phone and who you'd been talking to. That's the first place that they look, is your cell phone data. So she should have known that they would notice that she had looked up Amber Alert. How do you have to be for an Amber Alert to be issued? Does it cost anything for an Amber Alert to be issued? So it wasn't, you know, it's not that she wasn't aware of all of the hoopla that was going to surround it. She knew it because she knew that there was a possibility of an Amber Alert being initiated on her behalf, and the possibility of her having to pay for it. And who traverses throughout the woods with a pair of socks on and no shoes? They said she came home and had $107 cash in her right sock. So you're telling me that she was abducted, she was stripped naked, and was not abused in any way. She was just stripped naked and people took pictures of her. So that has me thinking that there's some nude pictures of her out there that she doesn't want her mommy to know about. Forget about her daddy. The daddy has no say-so in this household at all. He's just sitting there like a little puppy that's been chastised. You know, he's not going to say a word. That mother is definitely in charge of that household. And I think that CARLEE just wanted something and she wasn't getting her way either through her mother or her boyfriend or someone in her family. She just wasn't able to use her charm and beauty and, you know, her being the baby of the family to get her way. It's obvious that she's always had everything that she's ever wanted. She's got herself a red Mercedes. She's dressed very beautifully in all of her pictures, and she's got her wig done very nicely, or her hair done nicely. So she has always gotten what she wanted, but something has happened recently in her life that someone told her no, and she was not going to accept no for an answer. So here she had, the spoiled little brat that she is, just made up this cockamamie story. You know, it just makes everybody look bad. And I mean, we had enough of all these cockamamie stories with that Sherry Papini. I knew that was a lie. The first pictures that I saw of her and her husband, I mean, they were just so perfect and trying to portray this image of a perfect, loving couple. And they weren't anything like that. She had run off with an ex-boyfriend. Everything that glitters is not gold. So I just, you know, remind myself of that all the time when you hear, oh, how wonderful people's lives are and how wonderful this is. You know, I remember Michael J. Fox did an interview one time, and this was at the very beginning of his Parkinson's disease diagnosis. And he said that if there were a group of people gathered around in a circle and everybody threw their shoes into that circle, and then each person told the story of their life and the condition and the condition of their life at that moment in time, they said for you to pick up the shoes of that person that you want to have their life. And he said everybody would pick up their own shoes, and I do believe that with all my heart and soul. So even though I'm going through this terrible injury in my right shoulder, it is totally demolished. There's nothing that can even be done to the rotator cuff. It is so badly damaged. This infinatus tendon is completely torn, and there's so much arthritis in here that it can't be repaired. All this has to be cut off, and the arthritis has to be removed. So that surgery is scheduled for August the 21st, so I'm going to start preparing for it. I have a lot to do, but I am going to continue to try to make videos because I need to stay in touch with y'all. I need your love and encouragement and your support, which I get in every comment that you leave. And I just appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. So please give me a thumbs up and share my videos. And if you're new here, I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel. You will be loved and accepted here. And y'all, just keep on coming back.